Welcome. Suspiria was released in 2018 and was directed by Luca Guadigno. It stars Dakota Johnson and basically has the same plot as the other one. American dancer named Susie Banyan comes to a school in Germany to learn how to dance, and some weird things are going on. So this one differs a lot from the original story, and I think it does a pretty good job of telling a different tale, but staying true to the original contents of the original. And what I mean by that is it takes everything that was needed from the original, like the storyline, the characters, all that, and just goes its own way with it and tells its own story, which I really appreciate because I don't like when a remake is just shot for shot, dialogue for dialogue. But a lot more flaws end up in this version than the original. But first, speaking about some positives, this movie, instead of having the brightly shot colors of the original, is a lot more bleaker and has a lot more depressing colors. And I don't want to say it's beautiful, but it's very well shot. It does what it is trying to portray, which is a really depressing time, because this one really tries to wrap the storyline within what was happening in Germany at the time, which this takes place after World War II. I think it's taking place in the 70s in this one as well, but still kind of the fallout of what happened in World War II, and you could see many parallels to it. They bring in as many historical events to intertwine with the story, although it doesn't stay with the main storyline. It feels like it's kind of setting the scene for everything that's happening. Another positive is Tilda Swinton. She does a great job as Madame Blanc, which I appreciate they said Blanc in this one and not Blank like they do in the original. But she does great as Madame Blanc, and little did I know, she was also another character, this doctor character called Kempler, which he's a male. She portrayed a male, and she does a fantastic job of doing it. I was shocked finding out that it was Tilda Swinton, and I know the other people that I watched it with also thought the same thing. One more positive I could really say about this movie is the blood effects and the gore and the death scenes. I mean, they went all out on them, and you could really tell. I mean, you could see everything. This movie goes more towards the body horror aspects instead of the psychological aspects of the first. Although there are some psychological horror aspects within this movie, it's not really, I don't want to say it's not the main focus, but they really pay more attention to more of the body horror, which all I'm going to say is Sarah's little body horror scene, well shot, well acted, great effects for it. And Olga's body horror torture scene is also very good. It's a lot bleaker and a lot less beautiful than the other movie, but it does a great job of showing what it needs to show and really making you uncomfortable. Speaking on all of those positives, though, we do have to speak on some few negatives, which, unfortunately for me, has to be some of the themes and the way they portray them. It's not always cohesive when it's trying to portray these themes of the abuse of power and the national guilt that Germany is going through at the time, and even just aspects of motherhood, which is another theme of it. They try to throw so many things at you, and in certain scenes it works really well. Like a specific scene with Madame Blanc in a room with Susie. That's probably one of my favorite scenes in this movie, when they're having this discussion of what just happened and the scene beforehand. But other scenes are just in this movie that it just feels kind of forced, like they're trying to throw something down your throat, but it's not as cohesive as some of the other things that they're trying to talk about. And I think it kind of also results from this movie being 2 hours and 30 minutes long. That's way too long. I'm okay with movies that are a slow burn, but this one was just a little bit too slow in certain scenes, and it did feel a full 2 hours and 30 minutes. I wouldn't put this as a flaw per se, but Dakota Johnson as the main character, Susie Banyan, she's a weird casting choice. In the beginning, so like through this film is cut up into 6 acts and an epilogue. Her during the first like 2 acts was really strange. I was kind of confused of why they had Dakota Johnson as Susie, but once the 3rd act starts a bit, she really grows into her character, and by the end, I absolutely loved her as this character. But those first 2 acts were a little bit rough. I'm not really sure why, but it just felt really strange seeing her in this role, and I think it's because I love Jessica Harper. And I think she does a magnificent job in the original, but Dakota Johnson does a good job with having her own portrayal. So overall, I'm going to give this film a 7.8 out of 10. And if you want to watch it, you like the original, I suggest you watch it. I mean, it does good trying to stray away from the original and not be a shot-for-shot remake. And it adds lore to the story, it adds so many more characters. It really does add a lot, and Luca does a great job of doing this, but it's just not as good as the original, which I don't think it really was trying to be better than the original. I think it tried to pay homage to it, which is why Jessica Harper has a little cameo in it. She's amazing. I got so excited when I saw her. I can't lie. So thank you for watching this review. Leave a comment down below some other movies you would like me to review. But let's flash forward to the next review.